My dad blocked me after I came out, said he needed time to process. So I took his silence literally, updated my emergency contacts, and removed him from everything. 3 years later, I got married. He wasn't invited. I sat in my car outside his house for 40 minutes the night I came out. I had this script rehearsed, breath tight in my throat, palms sweaty on the steering wheel. I'd played the moment 100 times in my head, different tones, different words. Sometimes I was crying. Sometimes he hugged me. Sometimes it went nuclear, but I always thought he'd say something. Anything. What I got was silence. Let me rewind. I'm Jordan, 27 now. I was 24 when I came out to my dad. I told my mom first. She cried, said, "I just want you safe," and hugged me so hard I thought my ribs cracked. My older sister, Mia, knew years before I said it out loud. She'd teased it out of me one night after I'd downed too much wine and played Phoebe Bridgers until we both cried. My mom didn't tell my dad. She gave me that choice. And stupidly, I thought I needed to be brave, like he deserved the respect of hearing it from me directly. He didn't. My dad, Rick, 53 at the time, was the kind of man who considered emotional conversations an Olympic sport. The fewer words he used, the more he thought he won. Ex-military, big on routine, big on respect. Said, "I love you" exactly twice in my life. Once at my high school graduation, and once after he found me sobbing at 15 when our dog got hit by a car. But we weren't strangers. We used to watch football every Sunday. He taught me to change the oil in my car, grill a steak medium rare. We had rituals. I used to think that meant something. That it was love, even if it didn't look like the shiny Hallmark kind. So that night, I pulled into his driveway, heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my jaw. He opened the door like he always did. Stone-faced, arms crossed. "Hey, what's up?" he asked. Casual, like I wasn't about to unravel in front of him. I told him. I said I was gay. There was a beat of silence. Then another. Then 10. He nodded slowly, eyes fixed on the floor. Right. I waited for something. Questions, concern, anger, even disgust. Give me anything to work with. Instead, he said the words that would echo in my head for years. "I need time to process this." Then he turned and walked into the kitchen. Didn't hug me, didn't look me in the eye, didn't say a word about loving me, just turned away. By the time I drove home, he'd already blocked me on everything. No call, no text, no, "I still love you." Just digital exile, like I died. And maybe in his mind, I had. The morning after he blocked me, I stared at my phone for 2 hours. Just stared. Messages undelivered. His contact photo. A picture of us fishing when I was 11, grayed out. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even feel anger. Just this hollow echo, like someone had vacuumed all the air out of my lungs and left me weightless and cold. My mom was furious. She called him, left voicemails, said things like "coward" and "how dare you do this to your son." I told her to stop. I didn't want her fighting for me. If he needed space, he could have taken it like a man, not by disappearing like a goddamn ghost. Weeks passed, then months. Nothing. On my birthday, I got a card in the mail with no return address. Just a Target gift card inside. No note, not even a happy birthday. Just $25 and silence. I tore it up. That was the last time he reached out. It was like being erased. Like my queerness wasn't just disappointing, it made me invisible. I started therapy, told myself I didn't need him. I updated my emergency contacts, removed his name from everything, my medical forms, my will, even my apartment paperwork. It felt surgical, cold, but necessary. If I was in a car accident, I didn't want him to get the call. I didn't want his voice to be the one saying, "pull the plug," while pretending he still knew me. I even changed the beneficiary on my life insurance to my sister. I didn't tell anyone that part. It felt final, petty, maybe, but also like drawing a line. And then came the quiet years. 3 years. No calls. No birthday texts. No, "I miss you." My mom would ask if I wanted her to bring him up, and I'd just shake my head. She saw the hurt, though. She saw how I stiffened when old photos surfaced, or when his name came up casually, like he was some old coworker we didn't talk about anymore. But Mia knew the truth. She saw it in the way I stopped watching football, the way I never went near a grill again, how I stopped visiting the lake where he taught me to fish. Grief isn't just crying, it's avoidance. It's rearranging your whole life so you don't brush up against the parts that still bleed. And then, I met Zach. God, Zach. He walked into my life like color into an old black and white movie. He was chaos in all the best ways. Messy curls, infectious laugh, zero filter. We met at a bookstore of all places, arguing over which edition of Dorian Gray had the best cover. I said minimalist. He said dramatic gothic. He flirted like it was breathing. He didn't just love me, he saw me. And somehow, after years of walking around with a dad-shaped hole in my chest, I started to feel whole again. Zach never asked about my father directly. He could tell the topic was radioactive. But one night, 2 glasses of wine deep, I told him everything. Every word, every silence. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then he kissed my knuckles and said, "Then let's build something he never gets to touch." And we did. 2.5 years later, we got engaged. Programma ChatGPT skazala. The proposal wasn't flashy. No drone footage, no staged beach picnic with friends hiding in bushes. It was just us, barefoot in our tiny kitchen, dancing to some cheesy 80s song on the radio. Zach looked at me like he always does, like I was the best surprise he'd ever found, and said, "Let's make this forever." I said yes before I could even breathe. We told Mia first. She cried, obviously, then screamed, then made me promise she could plan the playlist and the bachelorette weekend. My mom hugged me tighter than she ever had, said Zach was family already, that he'd brought my smile back. And then she asked the question I'd been dreading. "Do you want me to tell him?" I didn't answer right away. I stirred my coffee, bit my lip, and finally said, "No." She nodded slowly. "Okay, but you know he'll find out eventually." I shrugged. "Then he'll find out the way strangers do, through someone else." I meant it, because here's the truth. I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't need revenge. I just didn't want him anywhere near something sacred. He'd made his choice and I was done holding the door open. Zach and I started planning everything ourselves, just the two of us, with Mia occasionally storming in with color swatches and Pinterest boards. We didn't want anything huge, just a late spring wedding at this old greenhouse venue we found upstate. Sunlight through ivy, mismatched chairs, pies instead of cake. It was us, imperfect and kind. The guest list was small, 70 people, max, and as we sat there writing names on note cards, I stared at the blank one where his name would have gone. Zach looked at me softly. "You okay?" "Yeah," I lied, then added, "I think this is the last time he'll miss something and I'll feel bad about it." Zach nodded. "Then let's make it count." We mailed the invites 2 weeks later, and I swear to God the night after that my father texted me. 3 years. Not a word. And suddenly, "Your mom told me. Congratulations." That was it. No call, no emotion, no, "I'm sorry I wasn't there." Just 7 words and a period. I stared at it for a long time. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I wanted to say, "You don't get to come now." I wanted to scream, "Where the hell were you when I needed a father?" But instead, I locked my phone and went to bed. No reply, no response, no invite. He didn't take the hint. 3 days later, I got a Facebook friend request from an account I hadn't seen in years. His profile picture was still that blurry one from his work ID. I stared at it, heart hammering for reasons I didn't want to admit. He hadn't called, hadn't tried to explain. Just sent a friend request like we were casual acquaintances reconnecting after a high school reunion. Zach saw my face and asked, "You okay?" I showed him the screen. He stared at it for a long beat, then gently took the phone from my hand and hit delete. "You don't owe him a damn thing," he said. Still, the ripple had been cast, like a rock dropped in water, and now everything underneath was shifting. Mia called the next day. "He's asking around," she said, low and cautious. "He asked me what day the wedding is." I felt my stomach sink. "You didn't tell him, right?" "Of course not, but I think Mom might have." That night, I got the email from a burner Gmail account with just his initials. No greeting, no signature, just a subject line that said, "I should be there." And then the body of the email, "I'm your father. No matter what." I threw up in the sink. I don't know what it was. Those 6 words, the way they slithered back into my chest like poison, the audacity of it all. He wasn't reaching out with remorse. He wasn't apologizing for vanishing during the hardest part of my life. He was asserting a right, a claim, like fatherhood was a contract I couldn't revoke. Zach stood behind me while I shook. He didn't say anything, just wrapped his arms around me and waited. Later that night, I sent a single-sentence reply. "You were my father," past tense. The next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize, straight to voicemail. His voice, "Jordan, this is ridiculous. I didn't reach out because I didn't know how. I needed time. You should have given me that. But this, cutting me out of your wedding? It's spiteful. It's wrong. I raised you." I played it once, then deleted it. Then blocked the number. I don't know what I expected. Maybe part of me hoped he'd show up at my door and fall to his knees. Beg? Cry? But no. He weaponized guilt. He made it about him. Again. 3 days later, I got another call. This time from his new wife. Yeah, he got remarried. Apparently, I wasn't worth a father-son conversation, but she was worth a whole-ass second chance at family. She left a voicemail, too. Said I was being cruel and immature and that Rick's been heartbroken for years. That I had no idea what it's like to be a parent. I laughed so hard I almost choked. Then I blocked her too. And here's the kicker. The next day, he showed up at my work. Update 1. First off, thank you. Seriously, I didn't think anyone would care this much. I just needed to get it out, you know? I've been holding this weight in my chest for years, and reading your comments, your stories, your outrage, your support. I cried in my car for like 10 solid minutes. Ugly cried. The kind where your nose gets involved and everything itches. Some of y'all said I should have torched his wedding invite on Instagram Live or sent him a, sorry, no plus ones for ghost note. Tempting? But truthfully, I wasn't aiming for petty. I just wanted peace. But that's gone now because he showed up at my job. I work front desk at a nonprofit. It's a quiet building, glass doors, small staff. He just walked in. No warning, no call. Just there. Same stiff posture, same blank stare. Like he was entitled to drop into my life whenever it suited him. He said, "You need to stop ignoring me. I won't miss my son's wedding." I looked him dead in the face and said, "You already did, 3 years ago." He tried to talk over me, got loud. My coworker had to step in and ask him to leave. I thought he was going to blow up. But instead, he looked me in the eye and said, "This isn't over." I laughed. I swear to God I laughed. Like, are we in a custody battle or a soap opera? I'll finish the rest of the story soon. But just know, if he wants a scene, he picked the wrong stage. It's game on now. The next morning, there were tire tracks in my driveway. Not mine, not Zach's. Just a perfect set of muddy grooves pressed into the gravel, right up to the edge of our garage. No knock, no note, just presence, like a dog marking its territory. I didn't say anything to Zach at first. I think I was trying to protect him from how ugly this was getting. But that night, I finally told him everything. The voicemails, the Facebook friend request, the email, the visit at work. He sat there quiet, jaw clenched, then said, "If he shows up again, I'm calling the cops." I nodded, but inside, I was already planning something worse. "You want to force your way back into my life, Rick? Fine, but you don't get to stay clean. You don't get to play victim while pretending the last 3 years didn't happen." So I did something I hadn't done since college. I made a spreadsheet. I went full gay spreadsheet mode. Every missed birthday, every silence, every text from mom begging me to understand he was trying in his own way. I compiled it all. The timeline, the silence, the burner email, the voicemail transcriptions, a literal receipts folder. Then I wrote a letter. It wasn't angry. It wasn't emotional. It was clinical, factual, cold. I printed it, put it in an envelope, slid it into his mailbox the next morning with 5 words written on the front. "This is why you're not invited." I didn't wait for the fallout. But oh, it came. 3 days later, Mia texted. He posted on Facebook. Zach and I pulled it up together. There it was. Public, long-winded, dripping in crocodile tears. 3 years ago, my son turned his back on me. I've tried everything to reach him. I've prayed, I've waited, I've begged. I raised that boy. I taught him to throw a football. I carried him on my shoulders at Disney. And now he's marrying a man I've never even met, and I'm not allowed to attend. There were photos. Old ones. Me as a kid. Me on his shoulders. Me in a Halloween costume with his arm around me. I didn't block my son because I hated him. I was in shock. I didn't know how to process it, but I never stopped loving him, and I never thought he'd erase me. Comments flooded in. Sympathy. Outrage. Distant cousins I hadn't spoken to in years saying, "No parent's perfect, but this is too far." Some even tagged me. That was the moment the war went public, and that's when I realized this wasn't about missing the wedding. He wanted the narrative back. I didn't respond. Not publicly. Instead, I posted a single photo on Instagram, me and Zach at our venue walkthrough, arms around each other, smiling, sunlight catching in the greenhouse glass behind us. No caption, just a quote from our vows. "You are my home now." It got twice the likes of his post. And that night, I got a text from an unknown number. "You really want to humiliate me like this?" I didn't reply. That's when the real retaliation started. It began with phone calls to relatives, great aunts, second cousins, people I hadn't seen since I was 12. He spun the same sob story. I was ungrateful, brainwashed, poisoned by that lifestyle. He said I'd turned my back on family values, that I was confused. Then came the messages to my mom. Screenshots she forwarded to me, her hands shaking. One of them read, "You raised a narcissist. You should be ashamed." She blocked him that night. Then he escalated. He called the venue, tried to say he was my father and needed access to the itinerary for security reasons, claimed there had been a threat, and that he was worried about guest safety. The event manager flagged it immediately, called me in a panic. I told them the truth. I was calm, professional. "He's been harassing me for weeks. He's not invited. He's not welcome. And if he shows up, I will involve the police." They added a security note to our file. I sent them a photo. They were amazing, said they'd handle it. But I knew that wasn't the end of it. So I planned my counterpunch. I printed every message, every email, every photo he'd posted, put them in a binder labeled Rick's version. And on the morning of our rehearsal dinner, I drove to his house. I didn't knock. I just slipped the binder under his doormat with one more note on top. "If you try to crash my wedding, this binder becomes public. Every message, every voicemail, every word you ever used to try and shame me. And then I left. I didn't hear from him again. But I did hear from his wife. Another voicemail, different tone this time, cold, bitter. She said, "Congratulations. I hope you're happy with the damage you've done. You humiliated a good man." I saved that voicemail. It's in the binder too. Update 2. Y'all, I thought the first post got traction, but this? You blew up my inbox. Some of you made me laugh so hard I nearly spit champagne. Shout out to whoever said I should have had a blocked caller ringtone play as I walked down the aisle. Iconic. So, yeah, we got married. And no, he didn't show up, but he did send a gift. A Bible. Wrapped in plain brown paper, no note, no card, nothing but a dog-eared page bookmarked with a piece of blue ribbon. Romans 1:27, of course. Real original, Rick. I guess he thought God was going to walk into our reception and smite the mimosa bar. I tossed it in the trash before Zach saw. But let me back up. The actual wedding? Perfect. Sunny, breezy, filled with laughter and people who wanted to be there. Mia crushed her speech, called Zach my second sunrise. My mom cried the whole ceremony. We danced until midnight under string lights and stars. It was everything he doesn't get to touch. Afterward, we went on a short honeymoon. When I got back, I found out he'd emailed a local newspaper trying to publish an op-ed about the moral decay of modern fatherhood. I guess he thought if he couldn't be invited, he'd be immortalized. But here's the kicker. Someone at the paper forwarded it to me, said it was too personal vendetta-y to run, and that it felt unhinged. Their words, not mine. So now I have a copy of his final tantrum, in print. Anyway, Zach and I are building our life. Our house is warm, our friends are loud, and my past? It's exactly where it belongs. Boxed, labeled, and stored with the other junk we outgrow. Programma ChatGPT Skazala. We didn't talk about him after the wedding. Not for a while. Zach and I just lived. We fell into that quiet, golden rhythm you only find after surviving chaos. Saturday mornings with bad coffee and worse hair. Grocery runs that turned into dance parties in the produce aisle. Arguments over throw pillow colors that ended with me pinned under him, laughing until I forgot what we were even fighting about. It was peaceful, earned, sacred. And then, about a month after the wedding, Mia called, voice low and tight. "Hey, did you see what he posted?" I didn't need to ask who. My stomach dropped before she even finished. I opened Facebook, even though I knew better. And there it was. Again, a grainy black and white photo of me as a toddler, curled on his lap in a recliner, captioned, "You can block me, erase me from the ceremony, cut me out of your photos, but you can't rewrite blood." I was there when he took his first steps. One day he'll remember who held him first. The comments were worse this time. People asking if I was mentally ill, saying I'd been brainwashed by the gay agenda. Some woman named Janine, who I swear hasn't seen me since I was 6, writing, "Maybe one day he'll realize what a blessing a father is." That was it. That was the final shove. So I published the binder. No dramatic post, no rant, just a clean PDF uploaded to a private link shared only with the people commenting on his post. Each person got a message from me. Since you feel entitled to weigh in, I thought you deserved the full story. The link included screenshots of his messages, transcribed voicemails, the burner email, a photo of the Bible gift with the page flagged. I didn't tell anyone else I was doing it, not even Zach. But within hours, his post was deleted. 2 days later, I got a voicemail. Not from him, from his pastor. "Jordan, I don't know the full context, but Rick is stepping back from public leadership for a while. I want you to know, on behalf of our church, that we're praying for peace, for all of you." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone, stepping back, like it was a press release. This man tried to smear me in front of family, strangers, God, and the goddamn internet, and ended up silencing himself. It was better than revenge. It was closure. We went to the lake last weekend. Same one where he used to take me fishing when I was a kid. I hadn't been back in years. Too many ghosts sitting in the ripples. But Zach wanted to go. Said we should make new memories. Reclaim the space. So I said yes. We packed sandwiches, grabbed an old quilt, brought a Bluetooth speaker and a cheap bottle of wine. No expectations. Just sunshine, and water, and each other. And it was perfect. Zach stood barefoot at the shoreline, skipping rocks like he was trying to teach the lake a lesson. I sat behind him on the blanket, watching his shoulders relax with each toss. And out of nowhere, I started crying. Not the loud, angry kind, just quiet tears, soft and slow. The kind that sneak up on you when your body finally realizes it's safe. Zach turned, alarmed. "Babe?" I wiped my face, laughed. "I think I'm okay, like, actually okay." He didn't say anything, just sat behind me and wrapped his arms around my waist, resting his chin on my shoulder. "You don't owe your pain anything anymore," he whispered. "You've done your time." I nodded. He was right. Rick doesn't live in my head rent-free anymore. He doesn't get to haunt the best moments of my life. He gave up that right when he chose silence over love, when he picked ego over empathy. And yeah, maybe he'll always be a scar. But scars don't bleed. They remind you healed. We watched the sun dip below the water, painting the lake gold. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like something was missing, because everything I need is already here.